Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here tonight for our weekly live, well, our daily live, rather. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you got a chance to see the videos that I pushed out today. Don't forget to smash that like button on this video. That is what I need you all to do. And also share my videos, my lives, my recorded videos across all social media platforms, Facebook, Reddit, everything, Instagram, TikTok, X, everything. Share. You can text them to your friends and family. Please do so. We have a week to go before the election, guys, and I'm trying to decide what I should do. On that day, should I go to? I don't know. I want to go to like a watch party or something, but I don't know. I just want to do something with a group of people that are like-minded. I might come on here and just chit chat with you guys back and forth. I'll probably do that. You guys tell me what I should do. But before we get started, I'm going to say a little bit of a little prayer. Father God, we thank you so much for your grace and your mercy that you are protecting these United States of America, Father. And we do believe that you will choose this next president, Father. And we have several years of peace, prosperity, religious freedom, great economic prosperity, and an international revival. We pray this, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, guys. Welcome. As you all can tell by the thumbnail, we've got Kamala Harris with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. All right, let's just see what she's talking about. I'm going to interrupt very infrequently because it's a little bit of a lengthy one. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Let's get going here. Let's share. And here we go.
Madam VP, how you doing?
Thank you very well, Shannon. How you doing?
It is an extreme honor, privilege, and a pleasure to have you on Club Shay Shay. CJ, who's the producer here, when we started this journey, Madam VP, 4 years ago, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, influencers.
Yeah.
VPs and presidential hopefuls were on the bingo card. You're here, so I want to thank you very much.
I thank you.
When we have guests come on, Madam VP, we like to toast. And what I read on this card, you don't deserve this. You earned this, being the first in so many areas. And you make us proud. I just want you to know you make us proud for what you've been able to accomplish. And we're 12 days away, and we hope you have an even greater accomplishment. So here's to continue success in everything you've done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you. And thank you. And to you, Shannon, to you for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And cheers to you.
Cheers.
And I'm not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this
I don't want you
with
to fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall asleep.
So here we are. Cheers to everybody.
So before we get into the things that you want to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back. When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to seek re-election, and you got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home. It was a Sunday afternoon. And my niece, her husband, and their two young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a puzzle for the kids, and we were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone rang.
Okay.
And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor.
Wow. Okay.
I knew I needed a moment to just be still.
I'm already having a hard time listening to her. Her hand movements bother me. I don't even know what it is, but I don't even think she believes in God. That's just a personal opinion that I have. I doubt it. And also he said that she earned it. Everything she got, she earned it. Did she?
And for my spirit and my mind to have clarity about the seriousness of the moment and my role. And I'll never forget that call or that moment or that day.
your life instantaneously changed in that moment.
Yes, it did.
Because now all of a sudden you weren't going to be running, you weren't going to be the VP anymore. You were going to be front and center. And
Right.
you knew what the undertaking, having been 4 years as the vice president, what that moment would mean.
Mm-hmm. I had a sense of it, you know, like so many of us, you know, when you this is your life, right? So there are those moments where your instinct kicks in,
Mhm.
sometimes before your conscious mind and thoughts do.
Right.
And my instinct kicked in immediately that I need to focus.
Mhm.
And I need to do certain things immediately, which included making, I think we estimated I made over 100 calls that day.
Mhm.
My team, and I have an incredible team, all came in, and nobody expected, right? It was a Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
In fact, we actually joked who had taken a shower that day. Because, people came in their workout clothes,
Right.
different people in, a bandana around their head, just, and came in, and we then, for hours and hours, well into the night.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them why you had summoned them to come to your place? Did you give them that news, or were you waiting for them to get there to share that news with them?
Well, so the news started to, as you can imagine, pretty much immediately, and but of the many blessings that I have and have had, one of them is an incredible team of people around me. You know what that's like,
Yes.
where they're just there and they will rise to a moment. And no matter how high that moment is, or meaning how serious it is. And what I love, and it's certainly my own work ethic, that there is no job too small or too big. If there's something that needs to get done.
So although you have a huge role now, what's a typical day like for you now once you've been thrust into this? What time are you normally getting to bed? What time are you getting up? And what's some of the activities that you do in a given day?
I'd probably estimate 14-hour, 15-hour days.
Okay.
When I wake up, no matter how little sleep or how much sleep I've had, I work out every morning.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
it's like mind, body, and spirit, right? And then, that's the only time in my day I really own. And then it is, these days, it's not unusual for me to be in 3 or even 4 cities in one day. Rallies with thousands of people, 10,000 people showing up, making calls to folks. Just now I landed in Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, who greets me every single time. So I'll talk with elected leaders who are supportive about, so for example, here in Atlanta, what do we need to do to make sure that we're giving folks the resources to knock on doors and remind folks of the power of their voice? And 12 days in, it really is a lot about trying to focus on getting folks to know their power, to not let anybody suppress or silence their voice, and to vote. Right.
So breakfast, what does Madam VP eat for breakfast, or do you have time to, or is it on the go?
No, when I was younger, I didn't think I needed breakfast. I wasn't a breakfast eater.
Okay.
Now I have breakfast every morning. It's usually a spinach omelet. It's not very exciting.
Right.
But it's protein with a little vegetable. And, I like chicken, apple sausage, and some toast. And then I'm gone.
Madam VP, you're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of grew up in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go. Dang. We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s with music.
Yes.
Went in fire. Ohio players.
Oh yes, fire. Come on.
Oh, you were like fire.
Come on.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
Yes. What do you listen to now?
Oh, I wish I were listening to more music, to be honest with you, because I love it. Just, but
you don't
when
have downtime. Like when you have downtime,
I don't have any downtime really. I know my little violin I'm playing right now with you. I really don't. But when I love jazz. If it's from Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis. I love Aretha. I was just with Stevie.
Right.
Stevie's, can I tell you?
Yes, you can.
Bucket list. Stevie Wonder on my birthday sang me happy birthday. Can you
Happy
believe
birthday.
birthday to me?
Oh my.
Can you imagine?
No.
I was literally, it was surreal. Can you, a bucket list moment
Right.
when Stevie Wonder himself sings you happy birthday?
I guess that was a special moment for her, if I don't throw up before the end of this video. But listen, I don't think people know what they're voting for. They obviously don't know what they're voting for. They vote for Kamala Harris. If they choose, if they vote for her, they don't know that they're voting for allegedly communism and all the things that she's connected to that the media is conveniently hiding from us, right? And this little exchange, although cute and warm and fuzzy, is not into the meat of things and is really not, it doesn't have anything to do about what she's going to do yet. I know, I understand Beyond Walls Gospel Radio. I know it. I'll just get back into it and let's play.
As an 18-year-old,
yeah,
could you imagine
never
your life would have been like this?
Never.
This many years
Never.
later?
And let me tell you, my mother she had every Stevie and every Aretha Franklin record, every album, like literally every one of them. So songs in the Key of Life, like all those Stevie songs that were about everything from the movement to optimism. I would have never at 18 thought that he'd be singing me happy birthday. Ever. Never.
That's the least. I mean, but obviously everybody knows who Stevie is. He was a child prodigy, 13 years old, and he was doing great things. But to see, Madam VP, what you've been able to do, you've had so many firsts. The first woman attorney general, African American, Asian American descent. You was the DA of San Francisco. You were the first Indian American U.S. senator.
And second Black woman ever in the history of the United States Senate elected. Second in the history of the United States Senate.
Have you had an opportunity to sit back and reflect and it's like, wow, but work is not yet done? That's more where I am. The work is not done. The work is not yet done. There's so much to do. I mean, to your point, being in the Senate, so there is a weight of responsibility that I know we all feel, right? When we have been blessed with an experience that allows us to be a role model. Great.
And to hopefully inspire people and to remind them of what's important or point out the things that need to be addressed. So, for example, as only the second Black woman elected to the United States Senate, I took on a real role of leadership around Black maternal mortality, which affects Black women and affects their spouses, their husbands, their families, their children.
She's talking about Black maternal fatality or mortality, but she's for the unaliving of the unborn. What about those fatalities? Just saying.
And I feel a sense of responsibility and a very strong duty to make sure that I use my voice and in a way that is about lifting up people who have not always been in the room.
Hello, America. Mr. States and Shape stepped out for some Black Ops 6, but I'm here.
You are often going to be told, well, it's not your time, not your turn. You're too young. Nobody like you has done this before. And I tell them, don't you ever listen to that. I like to say, I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no. You ask me what I eat for breakfast? I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear it.
Right.
And that's part of what are my life lessons that I try to share with young people to remind them that you cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability,
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. What did that experience tell you about your mom, and what did it tell you about you?
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family.
Okay.
Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that, there is the family that you have by birth, and there's also the family you have by love. And they're equally family,
Yes.
right? And I learned that from my mother. So my mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first Black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law, who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess. Because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works, because that's the way the world works. They're going to be different players with different moves.
Mhm.
And you know, I agree with the person that said these are some soft questions. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, guys, because you know, I don't feel like hearing her anyway. And it's just going to land where it lands. So yeah, we're going to just skip ahead because you know, we don't really like her anyway, but this is a video that's trending. So
Would you put in place to make sure Social Security benefits continue? Because there are reports that it could possibly be depleted by 2033. And there are estimated that 11,000 people turn at least 65 years of age every single day.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to make sure, because that, you know, people, disabilities, retirement,
Yeah.
survivors with beneficiaries, what are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan,
Mhm.
which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right? They can afford to. And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents a $6,000 child tax credit to help them pay for child care, for a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community, that you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rallies. He will spend full-time talking about, I was going to say Freddy Krueger, Hannibal Lecter. It might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. He'll spend full-time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what he's going to do for families, for working people. And we're 12 days out. This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime.
I agree with that.
My perspective, and I will be the kind of president who spends full time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism. On January 20th, a new president is going into the White House.
And it won't be you.
Period. A new president is going into the White House. Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there filling out his enemies list, spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge, or looking at the Oval Office and knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people?
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you.
No. Look, people work hard all their lives.
And it's not on the table for Donald Trump either. Every time she opens her mouth, it's a lie. Let's see what she's going to say.
And they deserve to be able to retire with dignity. I'll tell you how I come at this. I come at it from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care, or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right, that we should have policies that give people dignity, especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care.
Okay.
And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for Social Security, because the same thing, we shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority for you?
What is a priority for me is making sure that access to healthcare is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for.
I just about can't listen to this helpful. But yeah, so I'm sorry, y'all. I just get Southern and I just let the real me come out. But everything she's saying is not true. She hasn't done anything since she has been in office thus far. Yes, I had to comment under this very video saying, you guys should go under this video, and I'll put the link in the description. Go under this video and read the comments. You're going to love it. It is sheer entertainment. Maybe you'll see my comment is a little lengthy, but I had to get the hell for straight. But I'm not a fan of what she has done to our country. I'm also not a fan of these preachers that let her come into their pulpit and desecrate the pulpit. I'm like, what in the world?
For everybody. That's why I have fought for what we need to do around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the Black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with Blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, it's been like this? Because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, for a lot of Blacks, not all, but for some Blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some Blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question.
Yes.
Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the president of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure, your Fifth Amendment right, your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to Black families.
That's not true.
Who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children.
See how she's repeating? Okay. Okay, that's what they say all the time. Okay, so he did take out an ad on the Central Park Five, but let us be clear, that was an op-ed, that was an opinion piece. That was not actual legislation that split up Black families like what she did, where she locked up people for truancy and for minor drug offenses like smoking marijuana, which she herself admitted to smoking, and some of y'all think she smoked something else, allegedly. But because you talking about how she always rubbing her nose, but in any event, she locked people up for that, for those minor drug offenses, extended their sentences. Remember, they had already served time and she extended it. And there were people that she knew that there was evidence to free them, to exonerate them, but she held back on it. She even framed some and used Black men for slave labor, cheap labor for the state of California. That sounds like slavery. So they could talk all this stuff about Donald Trump, saying he refused, Black people renting in the houses. That's not true. I looked into that. Some of those people did not have the income or the credit score to get into those buildings. I looked into that. And also about the Central Park Five, that's an opinion piece. It wasn't legislation. I'm not saying anything about the guilt of these men. I don't know. I assume they were innocent. But at the time, that's what he believed. But it was not because they were Black. It was because he just thought they were guilty. That was just it. Because at the time, for some reason, they admitted to it. And I don't know if they were guilty or if they were pressured. I don't know about all that.
Who birtherism accusations against the first Black president, not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin. We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why Donald Trump has not earned the support of folks to be president of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 Black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID. You remember those days?
I do.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States.
That's it, y'all. I love y'all. I can't listen to this heifer. I can just rant on and talk to you guys a little bit, but I appreciate you joining me. She said he hasn't earned the right. She hasn't even received any primary votes. So what is she talking about, earning the right of anything? And her nickname is Heels Up Harris, right? You guys know that nickname. Heels Up Harris. That's right. That's what they call her. That's what I heard. Judge Joe Brown said she's a hoe. That's what he said. I say helpful. He said that she, I'm just saying, y'all, don't blame me. That's what Judge Joe Brown said. We're going to pray for her. And I've been praying hard for this country. I've been praying for an international revival. I have been praying for Donald Trump and his family, his wife, kids. And I just want to remind you guys, I do have a video coming out. I know that you've probably seen the video I did with a Black pastor. His name is Cliff McAnthony. He wrote this book right here, Trump the Great, and it's prophetic. It's got revelations about what's happening in America, not just about Trump, but as where we are in history right now. And he has biblical references and, revelations that God gave him. I'm pushing this video out the day before the election. So Monday, November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I plan on pushing this video out. Is with Pastor Cliff McAnthony. All right, he's pastor over a church in Massachusetts. I want you guys to really check out that video and like, comment, share, and all the things, all the things. And I just got to say, we got to pray for, I don't know if we've had this October surprise that Hillary Clinton was talking about. Remember when she said that? Or the October surprise? I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't even know if it's already been with the Hurricane Helene. I don't even know. But sometimes I wonder, was that it? Or is there going to be something else that happens? I've heard things about Washington State, in the drop boxes. Somebody was going around destroying the drop boxes in Washington State, the West Coast. And I know people are going to try to stay in power. Democrats have a history of dealing in elections. I'll just say that. They like the deal, and they have a history of it. And we got to make this too big to rig. Okay, we got to make it too big to rig. We know what happened the last time. There's proof on that, but the media won't talk about it. You know, they made things look a certain way at the Capitol. They did all of that allegedly. There's all this proof that's out there. But you know, these Democrat voters, not calling them Democrats, but the Democrat voters, people that vote Democrat, they don't want to hear that. They've demonized this man so much that it's like anybody would be better than him in some people's eyes. So I personally just find Kamala Harris reprehensible. I don't even know if there's anything there. I hate to say that she's soulless, but if you've been watching Candace Owens, you know about the kind of program that her mother was involved in, and Kamala Harris was raised a certain way. So we just got to remember she is the way she is for a reason. I mean, she is the way she is for a reason. But I do want you guys to know that I really appreciate you guys for supporting my channel. I will leave the link to the full video in the description if you care to punish yourself. I'm serious. But I just wanted to do it because when things are like trending or I do videos on them, even if it's on somebody that I don't like, and I don't like her. You know, I'm not with her, as you already know. But I thank you guys so much for supporting me. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, all the things. And you guys, you know what I always say, be blessed, love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors. Good night, everybody. Be blessed.